5 and 5.
This is it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the final GuildGab before Heart of Thorns launches. This is episode 56, and today, of course, we're going to be hyping all about Heart of Thorns launch in less than 14 hours.
Woo!
What did you just do? Corvus? Do you have champagne?
Party popper.
Nice. I need to go to the store now and get party poppers. He was saving it just for that. That is awesome. All right.
That's from last year.
So.
No, it's like this is like 5 years old. I wasn't sure if it was gonna work. That's why I didn't say anything.
All that smoke. I saw smoke come out of it. You're gonna like faint in 5 minutes.
It's a smoke grenade by accident.
All right, guys. I'm AuroraPeachy, MMO Inks, the RPG Shack, and Corvus.
Hey.
We are here
What's going on, guys?
to bring the hype, bring the excitement for Heart of Thorns, and talk about a couple other things that we learned this week. Didn't think that there was much left to learn, because they've given us pretty much everything. But then last Friday, we got on Guild Chat a segment all about the action cam, or this first-person camera that they're bringing to Heart of Thorns that... had no clue that they were working on this.
Not expecting it at all.
Yeah.
What, this is gonna change the game for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can someone kind of explain exactly what it is, what it does?
It basically locks. It's like when you use your right mouse button and you can move the camera. It locks that key down, basically, so every time you move the mouse slightly, it changes the camera. Adds a reticle, so it's kind of like a shooter. You know, you have a place to aim. Changes the targeting system up massively, so you basically hit who you're pointing at. And it just turns the game into something more like Skyrim, or like those kind of games. Even Elder Scrolls Online has kind of like a combat system like that. WildStar as well. And just brings the combat up to that kind of high-paced Twitch kind of action style combat, and it's crazy because I mean Guild Wars 2 has always had this kind of action style combat, but it still uses traditional kind of tab targeting kind of methods of doing things, and so I think this is gonna be a huge upgrade in terms of how people can play the game, and like even stuff like you're gonna be able to play with like a controller now potentially, like way easier than you could before. Like there's a lot of stuff now. Which is gonna be amazing to play around with for sure.
Yeah. Go ahead, Alex.
I was kind of going from what I've seen, it's gonna make things look a little bit more kind of cinematic, and just make you feel a little bit more involved in the combat. Because one of the things that I thought was really cool was that. When Guild Wars 2 originally launched, they were saying that your auto attack is just your kind of default attack skill. You don't have to kind of keep clicking and clicking and clicking to set it off. It will just repeat itself as long as you want until the bad guy falls over. And you know, back when the game launched, that was really cool. People were like, oh hey, great, we don't have to focus on using our auto attack. But I think as kind of time went on, having that auto attack there, it just to kind of flip over, it lost its novelty a little bit. So do you remember kind of what like the world bosses used to be before their health was buffed? I mean, you can still do it's pretty much how you can still do the Shatterer, where you just stand there, you can hit one and you can wander off. So even when all your other skills were on cooldown, you were pretty much just left with this auto attack to kind of cycle around, and you didn't really have any involvement with it. And bringing some kind of degree of user interactivity with your auto attack, or I guess it can almost not be your auto attack, and it's your default attack skill. Bringing it back to that, like Corvus was saying, you know, you take it to like a Skyrim kind of model. That's going to be really cool. I mean, I've seen a few of the screenshots, and unfortunately, I didn't get to I haven't had a chance to watch the stream, but seeing that kind of thing with the reticule on the thing, and you can like strafe and kind of keep the targets in the
Yeah.
crosshair as a range, just so cool.
It's awesome. To be honest, I think it's really good. It's kind of interesting though, because it's in a tricky position where it changes a lot of stuff. There's going to be a lot of people that say it's not as efficient as using the old way, because there's a lot more risk of missing attacks if it's kind of depending on you. This kind of thing. It's one of those things that like the game would have been so much different, and everyone would have a different kind of opinion on it had we not already had 3 years of using a different method.
Right.
But because it's being dropped in as an option, granted you can toggle it on and off whenever you want, just with a keybind, which is really good. But like I think it's one of those things that like had it been there since launch, people would be used to it and it would just be part of the game. But now because it's being thrown in as kind of an addition, I'm not too sure how much people will use it. But hey, it gives people the choice, and there's going to be some times where you want to. Maybe you're more ranged at the time and you get I don't know, you want to play around and snipe stuff or something. Someone said the snowball event where you throw snowballs at the kids and wait for a foothill, stuff like that.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah.
And the same at Winter's Day, the snowball stuff, the water balloon fights, like all this kind of stuff is going to be a bit more fun to do. To be honest, even stuff like Sanctum sprint and stuff, if you have that kind of free control over your character without having to hold a thing down, like your movement is going to be a bit more fluid, and I don't know, that could be quite cool too. Gliding as well would be amazing with it.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's going to make the transition from people who, take a break from Guild Wars 2 and go and play Skyrim or, one of these other games that have this action cam. It's going to make coming back to Guild Wars 2, it's going to make that transition a lot easier if they play a lot of those other games. And it's also going to bring new people into the game. For example, my husband, he tried Guild Wars 2 multiple times, but he said he couldn't get past the camera system. He said he just was not comfortable using the old system or the current system. But I told him that this was coming with Heart of Thorns, and he's like, I'm going to have to check out the game again. He's like, I might actually be able to play it now.
And a lot of the camera options that they threw in not long ago, like the kind of X and Y tilting of the camera, the over the shoulder thing, the kind of vertical precision stuff, that was all part of this that kind of made it into the game before this was announced. So you can go for that kind of third person over the shoulder shooter style camera setup if you want to and things like that. So I don't know, it's cool.
Yeah, it's interesting because there's quite a few players out there like Mr. Peachy who are used to these action combat games, like World of Tanks and first-person shooters, and they're used to this particular style of play, and now Guild Wars 2 is going to provide that for them should they want to play in that. On top of that, you have other content creators like Brazil and Wooden Potatoes, for example, who have been using ICM, Immersive Combat Mode, for years in Guild Wars 2, and now this allows them, and while there's some differences there, this allows them to maybe drop ICM and just use the in-game features rather than have to go to some other program in order to get that feel. On top of this, there's a couple other features that they're bringing with this as well, and you don't have to use ACM, Action Combat Mode, in order to get these, but there's a snap-to-ground AoE targeting, which is very useful if you're in that mode. If you're using AoE, is instead of like throwing it out in the center, it'll snap it to the ground with whatever you're targeting, which is fantastic. And then as he showed on the Ranger, there's I forget what it's called exactly, but you can switch targets mid-channel, and it doesn't actually stop the channel or miss the target. It will fluidly move right over to the target.
Yeah. So your rapid fire, you can spread that rapid fire across multiple targets, basically.
That is incredible, especially for longbow rangers. But there's other classes as well that benefit from that. But I can't. I'm not sure that action combat mode's necessarily for me. I'm kind of ingrained in the way that I play. But there's definitely features in action combat mode that make me want to use parts of it at the very least. And I'll start a new character eventually, and I'll use only action combat mode to try and, just get used to it and play that way and see how much I like or not like that.
Yeah. I think for immersion stuff, it's gonna be. There's times where I don't know, I want to go, and I'll just go to the Shiver Peaks and I'll just wander around, and I'll wander around in first person, that kind of thing. And this means, if I get into combat, I don't really have to swap out or kind of sigh and then go, okay, kill this thing and then carry on. Like I can just wander around and I can stay in that, and and go exploring. And a lot of people use that mod, and it gets rid of, you can get rid of your map, you can get rid of your kind of XP bar, that kind of thing. You can hide a lot of the UI, which is why it can be immersive as hell, because you're just wandering around and using the land and what you see to navigate rather than your minimap. And okay, they've not added that, but I still think it's going to add a lot to the kind of immersion stuff, wandering around and feeling like you're in this world. It's, I don't know, it's just, and it's, the best part of this is, like, we're just a couple days from launch, and like they just throw this, oh yeah, there's this as well. And the guy that worked on it was like working on it for like years, just like on his own, kind of coming in, working late and coming at the weekends and stuff, working on this thing. And now it's made it in game, and it's just so cool, like the amount of work people put in to bring these kind of things to us, just completely optional, really cool ways to do other stuff. And and it's, what's also awesome is that, ArenaNet see the hard work and are like, hey, this is cool, like we can put this in. It gives people that freedom to experiment and play around with things if they want to, devote their time to it. And for a lot of people, like we've been saying, this is going to change the game for them in a way that might mean they enjoy it more or actually play it, when they were turned off by it before. So it's just incredible this stuff happens. You wouldn't see this kind of thing in so many other games at all. It's just brilliant.
No.
I think it's quite interesting that we've certainly, that there's been quite an active kind of like an active kind of action within ArenaNet to shift Guild Wars 2 to a more cinematic kind of style after we've only had the first person camera for what, 9 months or so, is it? Something
Not
like
even.
That maybe.
Yeah, not even.
And especially considering it was the original Guild Wars had a first-person camera, and then when you finally get a hold of it, and there are, now that we're getting all of these new camera options, there's so much you can do to see how beautiful Guild Wars 2 really is. And I think I talked about this during the first-person cam GuildGab, but swimming in Frostgorge Sound in some of the really, really deep bits, like it's some of the best-looking bits in the game, and being able just to float around, shift camera angles, target it, just absolutely fantastic.
Nerf swimming?
Swimming.
Nerf swimming, dude.
Underwater combat, man. Underwater
That's
combat.
the way forward. I can't wait for those new
sure.
underwater legendaries, dude. That's gonna be amazing.
Too soon. Do you think there's going to be a lot of underwater content in Hot?
Very little.
The thing is, no, I don't. No, I don't think so. The way the maps are kind of, they're very split in the landscape is. There should be some water somewhere in the jungle, right?
Right.
I expect to see some, but in terms of combat and stuff, maybe. I mean, if there's water, they're gonna fill it with something, right?
I would think there would be some water, but maybe not
as much as
story
what we've had
mission
in some of them.
underwater or something. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Or maybe you could go to find a secret cove or a little secret area if you go through an underwater tunnel or something.
I'd really like to see some like little dark caves hidden in under the roots in the bottom level under the canopy, and just like nice little hidey holes where you can hide and kind of poke things. It's gonna be cool.
I think there's going to be so much of that. I think that it there's still things in the game today in core area that we're discovering that we've never seen before. Like it was a month ago that I saw those like stone or vine, I forget, faces when you fight the jungle worm in the Caledon Forest. When you fight the jungle worm, like I don't know, I just never looked up, and I was like, there's 3 giant faces there, and I never saw again, first person camera helped, it was hard to see it before when we didn't have that camera, but still to this day, 3 years later, discovering things, and these new maps are just going to be even more dense, more vertical. I can't wait to see the full verticality of the maps. It's
I mean, we've played around in Verdant Brink a lot, but we've not seen it all together, and I think there are sections of it that we've still not seen too. And then what's exciting for me is that what's going to happen when you reach the end of the map and you're at the portal to go to the next zone and you know nothing about it. We've not seen any screenshots that we know of. We've not seen any proper tour stuff. Like, that magic of going through that zone and wondering what you're gonna find and what kind of thing you're gonna see there. It's crazy, and it's just a few hours away. It's amazing.
I can't wait.
You said something last night, Corvus, in less than 20, in less than 24 hours, the only thing that's going to be holding us back from seeing the new maps and learning what happens with Mordramoth is us.
Yeah, exactly. No waiting for anything apart from you progressing through the story and playing the game and finding out yourself. Like it's amazing. For 9-10 months now ArenaNet have held all the secrets, all the power, all this stuff that we've wanted to find out. And we're still going to want to find out in a few hours, but we're going to be able to go and find out, and that's incredible to me. I've been waiting for so long, and the hype. It's going to be great.
Cannot wait. It's going to be something special. I was talking with Alex actually just last night about how I can't even remember exactly where I was or what I was doing 3 years ago when Guild Wars 2 launched, and
I don't either.
This is like a whole... I guess because of the position I'm in now, or where I'm at now, and all the new in-game friends that I've made, it makes that initial launch moment all that more special, I think. And to relive that is a really interesting, special thing. So this is what expansion launches are all about,
Yeah, exactly.
I remember when Guild Wars 2 first came out, me and Hannah weren't living together at that point, and I had stupidly agreed to go down to Sheffield that weekend. And so what I did was I'd been out with work folk the night before. I got home at like 2 a.m. I had 3 hours sleep, got up at 5, and played Guild Wars for 6 hours before getting the train down to see Hannah. She was not happy with me. But no, it's great, and for everybody in the EU, it actually our launch time is I think is 8 in the morning.
8 in the morning for UK people.
Yeah, we've got the entire day to play it.
And the big stream, but the big stream party thing starts at 3 a.m. for us, I think. Peachy starts then, and there's the big countdown stream, I think, from 3 until 8 for people in the UK. So I don't know. I was planning on sleeping until 7 in the morning, but now I know the whole thing starts at 3.
Yeah, I was not expecting that. Basically, Guild Wars 2 is having an official live stream for 5 hours before launch. Plus, I believe an hour after. I'm not sure on that, but they're going to have they're going to be talking with devs, and they're going to be, I don't even know what is all involved. They're going to quote unquote push the button, at midnight. So,
I mean,
I've got my work cut out for me.
I'm gonna have to miss most of it. It's just plain and simple. I need to get as much sleep as possible beforehand, because the launch is at 3 a.m. for me in Aurora. And I plan to stay up and play long after it launches, right?
Yeah, of course.
So I have to get that. I'm gonna miss 90% probably of whatever they're doing, which is a shame. I'll get to watch it later, but it's not always the same experience.
Yeah, especially because it's launching in the middle of the night for most people, or very early in the morning. And then having this 5-hour pre-stream, you're gonna miss something. You have to sleep. We have to sleep, because honestly,
no, I don't.
Honestly, I'm gonna jump in game. I'm probably gonna maybe run around Verdant Brink for a little bit, and then I'm probably gonna go to sleep. I'm probably gonna be exhausted, and then I'm gonna get some sleep, and then tomorrow when I'm rested and ready, I'll dive into the story. That's
be spoiled before that, probably.
Nope. Nope.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, that is the first thing. My first and foremost, I'm going for the story. Don't know how it's gated, so that's going to kind of determine, maybe I can only do the first 3 chapters, and that, or instances, however you want to call it. And then maybe I'll need to grind out some masteries or something to get to the next part. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that we're just gonna have to see. What are you guys doing right at launch? What's your focus?
I was going to play Revenant and get my elite specialization going, and I think we're going to be talking about this in a little bit. But I have since decided that I am going to be taking my ranger into the Verdant Brink and doing the story, because ranger is my main. Elsa's got to have the love, and also I want to get my my druid specialization unlocked, so I become invaluable in raids.
Cool.
Invaluable until the Zerkameta comes back and takes its throne on top of a pile of dead build skulls.
Oh God.
I am the one true build. Yeah. But yeah, so absolutely ranger. Going to be getting my pets. Going to be getting that story going.
Inks?
Corvus? What are you
Corvus?
doing, Corvus?
Okay, I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna play the game and play my necro and probably die this weekend. That's my plan. That's what I'm expecting. I'm aiming high. I don't know. I'm just gonna play, and I don't know if I'll stop playing. I'm worried.
You're just gonna you're gonna go where the game takes you, right?
I was too excited for today or tonight to sleep last night. I got like an hour's sleep last night. And then I had a nap for about an hour in the day. So I'm on 2 hours sleep from the past like 2 days. Just because I'm looking forward to this. So knowing that the stream starts at 3, I don't know. I might lie in my bed and have the stream on and just maybe sleep. I don't know. But I'm going to go and I'm going to play my necro and I'm going to just... I'm focusing on the story, so if in between that stuff and in the downtime between instances and stuff like that, I'll probably jump into some of the Halloween stuff.
Halloween,
But I don't know, just
too.
Heart of Thorns, dude. That's
yeah,
it.
we've got Halloween, haven't we?
Halloween, yeah. So, I mean, originally I was going to take... right now, I only have one Sylvari. It's my Necromancer. So the original plan was to play the Necro because I want to experience that Sylvari story first. Yeah. However, with the changes, or now that we know the information about the Elite Specializations and how that works... I think I might stick to the original plan 9 months ago, and level the. I'll have the Revenant instantly leveled, but I'll play the Revenant. I will probably make the Revenant a Sylvari at this point. I think.
Yeah, me too.
I'm going to do, or at least look at the Halloween content first, see what that's about, see if that's time gated. Can I only kill Mad King Thorn once per day? Can I kill him 50 times per day? Who knows at this point. But the idea is to run around and look at that stuff, and then jump into Verdant Brink. And as I go through Verdant Brink, I'll work on getting Herald and whatever at that time.
Cool.
Yeah.
Like as I play through, obviously.
I'm wondering. I'm gonna pay close attention to how the Halloween rewards are kind of given out. Like I've kind of stocked up on candy corn cobs, which is kind of stupid because I could have just waited till they're filthy cheap, but I'm gonna buy everything I can with cobs. It saves me having to grind too much, and I can focus on Heart of Thorn stuff. The stuff that could be dungeon
you'll
drop
be able
stuff.
to get your 20 slot bags for your new character with
which
candy.
Is very good.
Oh,
very good.
I've done that months ago.
But like, of course you did. But like, I don't know, stuff that comes from like the dungeon and stuff like that, I'm not too sure. I might wait until kind of the second week or a few days in before I start grinding for the Halloween rewards. Because I want to get the Heartthorns hype on, and there's no rush if it's for 2 weeks, hopefully.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What about... And I've been considering this. Oh yeah, Aurora, what are you doing?
Story.
Slumber party? Just story? Like right away? You're just hopping right into the story?
Nothing else.
Well,
else. She's gonna...
like I said, I'm gonna be up like for 6 hours before lunch, and at lunch, like I said, I don't know how long it's gonna take to download. I don't know if we're gonna be able to get in right away, so that's gonna kind of just have to be played by ear. I don't know how exhausted I'm gonna be, so I'm gonna, like I said, maybe do the first couple story chapters, and then probably just go to bed, and then tomorrow wake up and basically just hammer the story. And I'm gonna be either streaming or recording. I'm gonna have to be quote unquote on when I'm doing the story. Peachy Reacts coming back, yes, can't wait.
Yeah.
But then like in my downtime when I'm not streaming or recording, unless I'm grinding out like a mastery track in order to get to the next step. Then I'm going to do Halloween. Because I definitely want to get some Halloween in. I just love farming the Labyrinth. It's just so fun, just running around with Guardian Loot Stick. But yeah, before the story, I made a brand new Guardian, my second Guardian ever, because I wanted to make a Sylvari. I'm of course going to take my main through the story at some point, because she has to. She's my main. She has to do everything. She's done the Living Worlds. She's done everything. But I'm the same as Inks. I want my first experience to be the Sylvari story. As a Sylvari. Yeah. So that's why I made a Sylvari Guardian.
This is probably worth saying at this point. Mixelplick has just said in chat, don't forget the launch is probably not going to be the most stable experience. Guild Wars 2 had a very, very good launch. It was up 3 hours early for a start, and it was aside from a couple of odd lag wiggles here and there, it was actually pretty damn good over in the UK. So
Except for?
No, I thought it was all right.
The trading post didn't work for 3 weeks.
It didn't.
No.
Didn't? No, it didn't. It was fine. Well, not fine. It was.
Guild Wars 2?
Yeah.
I can't even remember.
The trading post didn't work for 3 weeks. We couldn't sell anything.
I think they've got that under control now.
Well, obviously, yeah. Now that won't be a problem. The game itself worked fine. You could play without really. I didn't have any issues whatsoever. Yeah. Besides the trading post thing, it was really, and some of the exploits, it was really kind of the most flawless ever.
The 21 Karma exploit. Yeah, and the chili pepper exploit as well.
And back then, I was so wide-eyed. I wasn't paying attention to. I wasn't watching videos. I wasn't paying attention to news like I do now. I just literally logged in and played the game. I really didn't even talk to anybody when I was playing. I was in a guild, but it was I don't have time for you guys. I'm trying to barebow here. And after 60 levels, I decided that this was the worst thing ever, and I switched to Guardian. But anyway.
Well, the thing is, I do maintain that Guild Wars 2 launch was pretty damn smooth. Yes, there were still bugs. There were a few skills that didn't work. There's one in Timberline Falls that admittedly did take them ages to fix because it was part of an event chain. But I think aside from a few launch niggles with connectivity and that kind of thing, probably the worst thing about Guild Wars 2 launch was that ore wasn't finished. And
oh yeah.
And you sons of guns decided to play the game too fast, get the best gear way too quickly.
Yeah.
I was pretty slow at all that actually when it launched originally.
I was too. I took my time leveling up.
It took me ages to reach level cap, months. I just played really slowly.
Me too.
I think it took me a month.
Like
I said, I switched characters. I started with a ranger, and I got him to level 60 super fast, I was ready. And then I was like, man, I really don't like this gameplay. I send this stupid bear out, and he tanks everything, and I plink away with my longbow, which the longbow was not nearly as good as it is now back at launch. And I didn't like it. And I tried 2 or 3 other classes who I can't even remember, deleted them all, obviously. and then I started playing Guardian, and I played Guardian for 2.5 years. Guardian just stuck with me. So but it took me a month from launch to get the Guardian to 80, whatever that time frame was. So yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, same.
It was.
I'm wondering. I don't know how. We're obviously likely going to encounter some bugs. Just it's the launch of a game, an MMO expansion, so it's likely. But I don't know. Things were seemingly okay. They're obviously gonna have to balance a few things, all this kind of stuff. But the download kind of thing is what's confusing me. Are they gonna let us kind of pre-install it, or how's it gonna
Colin
work?
actually said this morning that if you've played the betas on your account, you have a lot of Heart of Thorns already downloaded. Yeah, the majority of it you have already downloaded. It's basically, it's mostly those other maps and the, I don't know if there's cinematics and stuff like that, because we have Stronghold, maybe not the World versus World, but because that was a separate client. But you have all of the elite specs and the mastery system and the gliding, and Verdant Brink is going to have a lot of the textures of the jungle and stuff like that, and the Hylek. So we have a big part of it. Plus, with the streaming client now, we don't have to download 100% of it in order to get in and start playing.
That's true enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
What I'm curious about though is it like they're gonna flip the switch and that's when we can start downloading the rest of it, or are we gonna like an hour or two before they're gonna add the patch and
we'll
then they kind of activate it?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not too sure. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll
It would be nice like 2 hours before or something if they said, "Hey, start downloading now," and then you just can't play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think somebody compared like the current files to what Heart of Thorns is supposed to have, and I want to say, and I could be wrong, guys. If my numbers are slightly off, I apologize, but I want to say it's only 7 or 8 gigs left that we don't have currently downloaded.
Really? Wow.
Which isn't that. I mean, it sounds like a lot, but it's really for a game that's really not that much. So yeah.
That makes the entire client almost 30 gigs?
32 or something. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like 32 gigs with Heart of Thorns, apparently.
Yeah.
So, there you go.
There we go.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
less than 13 hours now.
Yeah.
Dude, it's crazy.
Yeah. So, do we want to talk about the hero point elite specialization majiggery?
Nah. Anyway,
I don't think anybody cared about that.
Yeah. Because it's gone up from you need about 170 hero points to get your elite specialization to the grand total of 400.
400 to unlock everything with your elite specialization.
Yeah, that's everything for the elite specialization.
Everything. 400.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why this confused people. Maybe because they had heard another number before, or maybe they didn't know how they were going to obtain this many hero points. I keep wanting to say skill points. But you can unlock the ability, the base abilities of your elite spec. You can, if you're a guardian, you can become a dragon hunter for 60 hero points.
Yeah.
Now, this is a progression. It's not just one unlock and you have everything. Because nobody's going to have 400 hero points at launch. The most you can have is 212, I believe.
214.
214.
Yeah.
So it's sick. You can spend 60 of those to unlock just the base ability to become a dragon hunter.
Right.
Now, this is a progression thing. You continually, just as when you create a character and you spend those hero points as you get them to unlock skills and abilities, you are going to be unlocking your skills and abilities for your elite specialization. So you will unlock the abilities of the dragon hunter, the traits, that kind of thing. And that total number, including that base 60, is 400.
Yeah.
Now, there are not 200 hero points to get in the jungle. In the jungle, every hero point challenge will award you 10 hero points.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Yeah. But the thing is, what I've always kind of thought, I did think that 170 did sound a bit low, because I have 211 hero points sitting on my ranger, and it's supposed to be like the operative word in the elite specialization is the elite specialization. It's you've got to actually play the game.
Yeah.
Right.
To me, there's no point in just going, oh, you can get immediate access to these brand new kind of subclasses just for buying the game and just playing old content. Because with the numbers that we previously had, that you could just play core Guild Wars 2 and get the elite specializations. And to me, that's it was kind of like nice that you'd have access to the Herald or Dragon Hunter or Chronomancer or whatever relatively easily, but it didn't.
It wouldn't feel satisfying
I'm
to
actually kind
do.
of happy it's got it.
Yeah, it would have just it would have just felt like a kind of retroactive reward for getting map completion or something. Like, it wouldn't have been the satisfying progression thing. And I quite like it. And the way they've done it is that if you've got a character with map completion, you're going to be able to unlock the first little chunk of it. Probably to make the elite spec playable, rather than just unlocking that minor trait that unlocks the kind of mechanics, but you don't have any other traits to pick or anything like that. So they probably paced it out quite nicely, and I think the final rewards are going to be the skins, the weapon skins and the armor skins or something,
yeah.
which goes through, you get the kind of runes and stuff too, so it is going to feel like you're progressing your character. Like for me, my Reaper, it's going to take a while, and once I've kind of mastered these maps and traveled far, like I'm going to be able to play properly with all my shouts there and all of my traits unlocked, and I have this new skin, and I definitely think it's a good way to do it. But there's obviously going to be a lot of people who want to play instantly, and so to let it, to have like the kind of barrier of entry only be 60, like I think everyone's going to manage that totally fine.
Well, veteran players anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
This whole number of 170 or 250, as it was for the whole track originally, was a data mined number anyway. This was never anything official from ArenaNet, and it just goes to show you that you really just need to be careful with data mined stuff. Generally for a data mined anything, the base is there. The basis of what it should be is there, but numbers and stuff like that, those are always changing in an MMO, especially when it comes to balance and stuff. So, it's again one of these things where they data mined that Elementalist or Tempest would have Sword, and then it had Warhorn, and people were all angry and upset.
Yeah,
and it's like, it's just part of the development process. I kept trying to stress to everybody that 170 or 250, this is just a data mined number. This is not set in stone. And so we heard 400, which is way far departed from that, obviously.
Right.
Sure, it was shocking to me. I still don't really understand why 400, why that number. There must be a logical, balanced reason for it. I don't know exactly why that is.
I think it just had to be higher than... It had to require that you played more than just Corteria, I guess.
Yeah,
but then is that possible?
True.
Yeah.
You need to be level 80 to be able to spend the points on this line. So I think it was just a way to kind of, for most cases, ensure that you've played some of the Heart of Thorns maps to be able to specialize, like well enough to actually have stuff unlocked. So I don't know. I think they had to just make it a high number, and that's why, to balance it, the challenges in the Maguma Jungle are worth 10 points.
But why? Yeah, see, I don't know. 10 points seems really high, and then there's this imbalance between how you unlock them in World vs. World, or it's not really an imbalance because you need 5 rank ups, which is not exactly cakewalk.
A lot.
World. It's still 5 rank ups is quite a bit for one, Maguma challenge, so to speak. But 10 is a weird number to me. I don't know. I realize it's an even number. It's a balanced number, but why 60 to unlock? I do understand the logic, the concept of it is that that players have 214 or 200 something hero points. So the elite spec needs to cost more than that because you do not want veteran players on day one to unlock all that content and then feel like, okay, all I got to do is run through story now because who cares about whatever? Who cares about this extra stuff?
Right.
I already have my elite spec. You want them to play through, and you want them to experience it. And on top of that, for a brand new player, which, ArenaNet has just gained a ton of brand new players, when they get to level 80, rather than continue doing whatever they were doing in Corteria, let's just get into the new content. Let me just experience that. And I can go in there and I can play and I can start unlocking my elite specialization as I play in the new content rather than stick around in Corteria for another, 12 hours or something like that if you don't want to. This allows on launch for new players who maybe just hit level 80 or who are going to hit level 80 within the next day or so to jump right into the Heart of Maguma and unlock a couple. And I got 10, I got 20, I got 30. I do 6 hero challenges and now, okay, I'm set. I'm on the road, and I can start to really unlock everything. The other thing is, 400 is everything. This is weapon skins and all the extra stuff that comes with the line. How much exactly is it to unlock and get all the traits? sure, it's a big number, but it's not 400. It's much less than that. So I really don't think it's that big a deal. I think people just seen a big number and they were like, oh my God, 400, this is crazy.
Right. Well, that was before we knew that the hero points in the jungle were worth 10 as well, right?
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
what? I'm going to get 200 hero
20,
points?
isn't it?
What? No, it's 40 hero challenges. So it'd be 10 per
sorry.
lap,
At
right?
least. They
So-
said that.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's if you do all the hero points in Korea, which gets you 200 and whatever, then you only need to do 20 in
Right.
Yeah.
in things. So you don't even need to do, in all probability, if they said you've got however many hero points in the jungle, you don't even need to do all of them to unlock your specialization.
Yeah, they said you'd
True.
have to do some of them.
But if you wanted to, you could spend all of your time in the jungle, and there will be more than enough hero
To
points to
finish,
unlock
yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing the mastery points are going to be required for the kind of gift of Maguma or whatever it is that's replacing the kind of world completion style stuff for the new legendaries and stuff. So they still do serve a purpose, even if the kind of points you're getting aren't going to be spent for a while.
Well, we don't know if the next elite specializations are going to come out before the next expansion, after
Well,
the
that's
next
it,
expansion. So we could be spending those extra points that we earn in the jungle on another elite spec. I doubt that those are going to come anytime soon, but
Right.
maybe then you'll have a heads up. Even if it does come with the next expansion, you'll have a heads up. If you've completed all of the hero challenges, you'll have that extra 200, just as veteran players now who have completed Corteria have that extra
exactly.
200. So you'll be halfway to your next elite spec.
So it'd be the kind of same situation we're in now.
Right.
It does create this issue, though, of every elite spec that comes after this, will they have to be 400 points or more for each one? And does this mean that when ArenaNet launches expansion 2, Cal, as Wood and Potatoes has been calling it for several months, do each of those hero points have to be worth 10? I mean, there might be 5 maps or 6 maps or 7 maps in the next expansion.
That's the thing.
They'll have more time to develop that stuff because
Right.
the groundwork is now laid for a lot of their functionality. But regardless, like, there's going to be this balance game from now on about how much every new elite specialization is going to cost. And I just don't want to see this. World of Warcraft suffered from this for a long time, where, in damage anyway, where the numbers kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger until you were hitting with your character and you were doing like 100,000 damage per hit, and it's insane, right? I just don't want to see the same trap happen with these hero points. I don't want it to be, if they can keep it at 400 every single time and now everything is worth 10 points, then okay, I guess. I still don't think it's the best system ever. But does the next one cost you 420 or 430?
The problem with that is that maybe the next expansion is going to have way more zones. Maybe we go to Kantha or Alona and there's way more zones there. How, there's going to be more hero points, surely. Which means you're going to have a bigger offset of extra ones at the end, which means, when the next elite spec comes around, you're going to have way more of than the required cost, potentially, or who knows. So that's why they would raise the number. I guess what's good about the way they've done this is that each one's worth 10. So maybe they could reduce it, so maybe next expansion they're worth 2. So they can add way more of them in more zones, and you would still kind of reach the same halfway point or something.
You guys have to remember, too, that this isn't set in stone forevermore. I mean, these used to be skill points. Like, they've already changed the system completely once before. Yeah. They've changed the entire trait system. At the launch of the game, we had 60 trait points. Then we had 12. Now we have this weird system where we select, the different... And it looks all cool, but so if something's not working, they'll change it. They'll rework the whole system, and we'll learn the new system. So.
I'm sure they have a lot of this in mind, to be honest, as well.
Right, at a higher level of thinking. Yeah. I do wish that rather than 60 points to unlock the elite spec, I wish there was some kind of this precursor scavenger hunt that we now have, where you got to robe Jotun stones and whatever. I wish there was some kind of collection or scavenger hunt to unlock the elite spec.
So that would be cool.
Maybe the reward
put some kind of
could
story
be,
to it.
Right. Maybe the reward could be like, not only do you unlock the elite spec and then you can start spending hero points in it, but maybe you earn your shoulders or your weapon or whatever while you're doing this. And this
You
way,
could find your great sword somewhere, and it belonged to this necromancer from hundreds of years ago or
Yeah,
something.
I would have loved that.
you find Belinda's greatsword and cry over her body, and it would be great. You find Drubert's lost whiskey bottle, and now you're a berserker.
Well, I'm still hoping that with the story, even if it's not personal to us, like how did I become a dragon hunter besides just spending skill points? I hope that, like, because we were pretty sure that Bram is going to become a dragon hunter, so there's going to be some story as to how he became that. We've already seen that with Reaper. There's been story as to how Marjorie learned how to use a great sword and is studying with rocks, you know? Now, how that translates to every profession in the world, you know, everybody in the world who's a necromancer, we just kind of have to accept that. But
Well, I think like if the hero points are hard to reach and kind of, I don't know, maybe actual difficult challenges, you know, that kind of thing, then it's going to feel tough for us. And then if that's kind of mirrored in the story by a big story event where someone becomes you know, specialized, it's gonna you're gonna have this kind of idea of how big a deal it is. Kind of combining the two. So I remember ages ago us talking about maybe there'll be a cutscene, you know, like when you specialize, and it'll be this huge thing about how you've turned into the man. Those were the days.
I do think we're going to get part of Ritlock's story. They always leave a bit of Ritlock super mysterious because that's who he is. But I think we will get part of his story. I do think that we're going to see, for example, Marjorie make this transformation into Reaper. So it won't be us personally making that change, but we will see it happen to like the characters around us. I think.
I believe so. Yeah,
I reckon.
And that's kind of exciting because that means Air dies and Braum goes emo, and this should be fun.
Takes her bow, swears revenge on all dragons, becomes a dragon hunter.
I've started to prefer this idea of Air becoming a druid properly, and maybe she just gives Braum their bow, and she doesn't have to die.
Somebody has to die. Okay,
listen,
good storytelling. Come on, make me feel. I'm not saying I want a character to die, but like some stuff has to happen. I want stuff to happen in the story that's major. Yes. So I don't want someone to die, but I want someone to die.
Peter, I would work for Cheez-Its.
I think we can all safely assume it's going to be Air, can't we?
That would be my best guess.
I'm still hoping for Logan. Okay.
That's not a story point. That's not a major story point.
I just want ArenaNet to hire me and let me work with Peter Freeze to kill many characters in Syria.
Delete. You can delete major characters. Air, delete. Logan, delete.
You would delete the entire game apart from character creation and the delete button.
Inks would just make all the dragons rise and just delete Tyria.
Whole land masses, just like, you know what, I never really liked Lornar's Pass. Just delete that whole section, just get it out of there. It's not that important.
Oh my god.
But in all seriousness, I'm really looking forward to not just the main story, like us finding out a way to fight Mordremoth and tracking down Destiny's Edge and that whole thing, because that'll probably be a big part of it, but what happens to those characters like along the way? We start in season 2, especially in season 2, we've seen these, you know, our new band of heroes, Destiny's Edge 2.0 or whatever you want to call them. We've seen them start to develop, and I really think we're going to really see that development take root, no pun intended. But I think it's really going to take root in this story, and that's what I'm looking forward to the most, I think.
Same with characters like Kanak and stuff, you know.
Yeah, how do these characters come out at the end? How are they forever changed? Who's alive? Who isn't alive? Who's wounded maybe permanently or something? I mean, I was still of this idea that Marjorie didn't need to die from the Scarlet attack, but there's no scar. There's nothing to remind you that she almost died, right?
Right.
Give that to us. Leave one of them maimed or something. Come on.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing.
That was her intention, wasn't it?
Yeah,
like
well, she originally was supposed to die, wasn't she, Marjorie?
Yeah,
that point.
Yeah, I think
Well, I
that's
think so.
what we've gathered. Is that
Yeah.
at one point they were going to kill her. They decided not to. So
But maim her.
so that Casimir goes crazy.
Neighbor.
Just a little scar or something.
I think the thing that I'm looking forward to the most, as far as like what I hope we get out of the story, or what I'm looking forward to most, is to see how it ends. Do we actually kill Mordremoth? Do we learn that we can't kill Mordremoth, or it'll upset the balance? I want to know what the end result is. Do we kill Mordremoth and then Primordus stirs and it's off to kill Primordus? Or, how... I think that it's really going to it's going to be very telling how this ends. The cadence of the rest of the expansions. Are they just going to go from dragon to dragon to dragon? Or is it going to go in a different turn? And personally, I'm hoping that it goes in a different...
Right.
In a different
Yeah, 100%.
path.
Take that left turn.
Yeah, I mean, we've got this whole stuff with the dragons, those hints at the kind of balance and how important it is. The entire Eternal Alchemy vision we got is basically based around that.
Yeah.
We have the stuff with Who is E, we have Ritlock's sword, this kind of thing, where's Destiny's Edge, what's Kaith doing, like, all of these things, like, that hopefully are going to be wrapped up, or at least kind of giving us a stronger idea of what's going on. And we're just a few hours away from that. And I've been waiting for this for like a year, dude.
Yeah, it is. Man. How long? 12 hours? 12 hours?
12
now?
hours, 38 minutes, and 41
Not
seconds.
counting.
Just, Colin, just appear in the stream and just say, it's live now!
Colin, do it.
No.
Colin, do it.
Sorry, guys, I gotta go. Colin said it's live.
Oh man, there's so much stuff to do, and then we've got all of Halloween, we've got all of the masteries to go for, we've got all of the exploration stuff to do, all of the guild stuff, guild hall missions, strongholds there, new board, like there's just so much here. Oh
Speaking
man.
of which, ArenaNet rolled this first week's
Yes, I was gonna
missions,
say.
and it's all World vs. World and PvP.
And
No
we can't get
PvE
into World
missions.
versus World right now.
No PvE missions.
No PvE missions at all.
You
for
can
this
go
week.
in and set that so that next week you get PvE missions. But for this first week, if you want to do it, if you want to unlock your guild hall, you're going to be PvPing and World vs. Worlding. They'll be dubbing. Whatever.
Guild missions is the
PvP
last
missions
thing on
would
my
go
mind.
for
I'm sorry, Maven, but that's the last thing I'm concerned about. I'll try and show up tomorrow night, but...
You better be there.
Oh my gosh. Those new World vs. World Borderlands, oh my gosh, confused. They're so huge, and they've got so many layers and different... Oh my gosh.
Tirza and Tyler really did a fantastic job on that map.
It's massive.
There's a hidden... Okay, so I think most people probably know at this point, but in one of the lakes, there's a dolphin named Echo.
Oh, nice. That reference.
And and I don't know how he survives, but there's a shark that's encased in one of like the starting points on the Borderlands map. He's encased like underneath the starting area. You can see him when you look at the vista and it, like zooms out. There's like a shark encased underneath your feet. Lots of little hidden little things. I can't wait.
It's awesome. It looks amazingly detailed and stuff too. Like there's just and just everything about them. Like I think I'm definitely gonna give Wolverworld a proper shot and play a lot more of it. But the thing is, it's just so much to do, and it's been so hard to figure out what I'm gonna focus on. I really, story is just the thing I'm sticking with because it's the thing I'm most excited for.
Yeah.
And it's the thing I've been waiting for the longest. So I'm just gonna go for that. But after that, like, what do I do? Do I look at legendaries? Do I look at the precursor stuff? Do I try and master absolutely everything that I haven't mastered yet? Do I get the? Do I try and
Pact
prepare for the
Commander
new
Mastery.
legendaries?
Oh, I need
Yes.
auto loot. I need auto loot. I hope I can level that in the labyrinth because I will just stay up all
Vacuum.
night and farm the labyrinth to get my auto loot. I need it.
Vacuum that loot in.
I need it.
Absolutely. Screw helping people. I need to vacuum loot. Seriously, I want to vacuum loot.
There's just so much stuff, and I don't know, it's gonna be kind of almost overwhelming in a way, I think. You know, you log in, you're just like, okay, what do I do? I don't know what to do. There's just too many things.
It's great, though. Like,
yeah, it's an incredible feeling. It's
like,
been so long since we've had that.
Yeah, for months, even myself, for months, I log in and I play maybe a couple hours every day, but it's been a long time since I put in like a really, really, really long stretch of playtime, you know? And Heart of Thorns, because there's going to be so much to do, at least at launch, there's going to be like, you know, which direction do I go in? And it's really just going to be interesting to see, like, I'm doing this, but what's Aurora doing? What's Corvus doing? What's Alex doing? And we're all going to be doing, like, similar but different things as we approach the content.
Yeah.
And that's really interesting to me as well. Yeah.
It's going to give us a lot to talk about as well on GuildGab.
Did you guys find this? Yeah. Did you guys see this in the jungle?
Exactly.
This little tidbit? Did you talk to this NPC? Yeah.
Spoilers. No spoilers.
Spoilers. That's right.
Yeah. That's gonna be tough.
At the very end, we just stick a spork in Mordremoth's eye. Just, damn you, Mordremoth! This is for Belinda.
We all really cared about Belinda.
She was so like, who cares?
She was so great for those 2 episodes she was in.
Oh my god. That build up to like learning about her. It's like, oh, we're gonna get to see more of Belinda. It's like, nope.
She's dead.
And like, it's like you want to feel bad because she died, but it's just like, wow, too soon.
Yeah.
I felt worse about Drubert. Sorry, Belinda.
Oh gosh, I freaked out when I saw Drubert.
He took my damn money.
He still wants it back.
That's what you care.
Gonna spend it on trick-or-treat bags.
You know, I think I probably gave him like 8 or 9 gold, I think, the little jerk. Because I'm like, something has to happen. There's gotta be an achievement. Why would ArenaNet ever put an NPC I could just continually feed money to that does nothing? It's dialogue.
And Peter Freeze is just going, I wonder. I would kill to know that number. How much gold did players sink into Drew?
Yes.
Not only Drubert, there's been other NPCs where you can just feed them gold, just feed them gold, just feed them gold forever. I want to know how much gold he made.
I want to know how much gold Drubert took from the economy. It was a lot. It was a lot more than people think. I think that number would be staggering. You'd be like, what? You idiots fed him like 7,000 gold over like the period of 2 weeks? Are you crazy? Funny.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
Those are the kind of surprises that are going to be in the jungle. I bet there's going to be all kinds of NPCs like that who are just there just to mess with you. I mean, look at New Lion's Arch and all of the new NPCs and new activities that they put in there. Like they had an NPC who's just like a crazy homeless guy who's spouting lore theories that the community comes up with. Yeah. I mean, how creative is that?
Yeah.
I
wondered too, like, I guess I'm just a sucker because when they added the flower vendor, I did the same thing. It's like, okay, here's 30 silver. What do these flowers look like? Oh, okay, they're nice. Here's the gold. What do these flowers look like? What do you mean they're the same? Here's 3 gold. What do these flowers look like? What do you mean they're the same? How could all 3 flowers be the same? What's the point? Why would I ever give you 3 gold?
You just
Why? Did. Oh my gosh, you're killing me. You just took 5 gold out of me for the same flowers.
Which you bought on the gem store a year ago.
Yeah. And they'll keep putting those vendors in, and I'll be the sucker who's like, well, what happens if I give him 20
It's gotta
gold?
do something. It's gotta do something. Yeah.
I have to know. Does he ever do anything? Maybe he dances at 50 gold. I'll just keep feeding him. No, he does nothing ever. It doesn't matter how much you give him.
I think the first NPC like that was in, I think it was for the Queen's Jubilee, was in like the Queen's, like that arena. And there was, I think There was some NPC where like a bar filled up and then you could do the event or something. I can't quite remember. But I remember like the very first time I encountered an NPC like that, I had the exact same. I was like, he didn't do anything. Like, I was hurt that he didn't even say thank you. Like, and Drubert was the same. I was like, he didn't even say thank you. Like, he just took my money. He didn't even say anything. That's what hurt the most.
In Canada, at least, it's like those guys who sit on the street and you're like, you drop some coin in there and they don't even look at you. It's like,
acknowledge my generosity.
yes, I am generous. There's an old episode of Third Rock from the Sun where the main character Dick is the lady's ringing the bell like for the charity for the Santa, I forget what it's called.
Salvation Army.
Salvation Army, yes. So he puts in a coin and she says Merry Christmas. He puts in another coin. She says Merry Christmas. So then he tries to sneak around and put a coin and she Merry Christmas. He's like, she's too good. She's coin operated. Yeah. But Drubert didn't do anything. He was just
nothing.
Nope, nothing.
And then he went and died, you know? God.
And I didn't get any of my money back. There should have been like ArenaNet should have put like a little pile of coins that you couldn't pick up like underneath of him. Like Vine shook them loose. Yes. Oh well. I mean, I'm not bitter about Drubert or anything, Peter, but you know, Drubert.
Ooh, Neo has a good question. Would you like to get a new login screen or character selection background and/or music? Absolutely.
I think so.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, they did it in Guild Wars 1.
They did it, yeah.
Exactly.
Yes, Alex, they did it in Guild Wars 1. Every time an expansion or a new campaign came out, the background, basically in Guild Wars 1, it was like the environment in which your character was standing, and the music changed. And you could even like zoom around your character and like look at the scenery. Like if you go into Guild Wars 1 now, it's for Eye of the North, and it's like you're on top of this mountain and there's like you can see like the shiver peaks all around you, and it's so cool. You can zoom around, and I love the Guild Wars 2 character select screen. It's great, but I do hope that we get, of course, I want new music.
Get some kind of jungly type stuff going on.
Yeah.
There is a new Heart of Thorns theme music that they previewed on one of those streams. We had McLean's piece, Lena's piece, and then there was like a third piece of like Heart of Thorns theme music or something. I think it was called. So maybe, who knows?
We've had some new music for the betas, so I just kind of assumed that they would use the music they played there. I don't know, but a new actual background would be amazing. Because I mean, we've been seeing the same thing for like 3 years or so. So
yeah,
it'd be cool.
Once. So many things. So many things. Oh
Too many things.
Too
Give
many
us less,
things.
ArenaNet, please.
No.
Take some of it away.
Stop.
Give us less.
Stop.
Oh my god. Oh my gosh. All right, we are actually at an hour. Good job, guys. We've filled an hour with our crazy hype ramblings and speculation. And
are you sure? I could yell about Drubert for like 20 more minutes.
In the post show, you can do whatever you want, and then you can use profanity too. Damn it, Drubert. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in live here on Twitch. Of course, you can check the chat for all of the links to our YouTube channels, and if you're watching on YouTube, scroll down below and check out all of the links to our Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, all that stuff down below. There you go. Scroll down right now. Go. Click all the links.
Scroll. This is scrolling.
Lots of Guild Wars 2 content. 12 hours, 26 minutes, and 10 seconds away.
Oh my god.
Woo-hoo!
Crazy. It's insane. It's insane.
It's here, guys. It's here. All right, guys. Stay tuned on Twitch. Don't go anywhere. We will talk to you guys in the post show. But for everyone else, we will see you next week where we'll be talking about Heart of Thorns, the actual game. Woo! Yes. All right, guys. Take care. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
See you later, guys. Take care.